Hello and welcome back to the Losing It podcast YouTube channel. All the things. We're all the
We're
things.
everywhere. We're everywhere you are, and that's
Exactly.
what matters.
And this week we're going to talk about a whole host of things. One being the weather is a changing, is it not now?
Yes, we've found that we've had a really good uptake recently, and people who want us to talk more about the behind the scenes of what we talk about with our clients. That's the
Yeah.
feedback that I get. Like, oh, I love it when you talk about what your clients did this week, because either you are one and you know that I'm talking about you, but also I think it really is representative of kind of what's going on now, what's normal, and it doesn't make, you then don't feel exceptional because you're not
Yeah.
out there being renegade, being the only one that's struggling with this. And I think that context is something that we have, and it's within our gift to share. So today I turned up and said, right, what have you been talking to your clients about, Heidi? What have I been talking to my slimmers about? Let's talk about that. So when you say a whole host of things, we'll try and keep it succinct, but we don't always succeed.
We will try. And one of the things we've been talking about is, we have talked about this before a few weeks back, but autumn hadn't quite arrived, so you probably were like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
a later thing. But switching up some of your products to suit where we are in the year, because if you're still trying to make an ice cold vanilla shake fetch and you're like, I can't face it again,
it actually
we
makes
need
me
to
cold
change it.
about it. But again, it's the short version of this a few weeks ago was stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Let your plan evolve into the new seasons, because a cold chicken salad ain't going to cut it. The slightly long form version of that is that people who didn't heed that advice tend to get a little bit more vulnerable to the bitch in their head that's telling them that the plan's gone a bit wobbly and they just need to knuckle down. They just need to
Want it more.
Exactly. They need to be more motivated because it was working before and it must be something that they're doing. That is the toxic cycle of diet, which is everything that we are against, because it's so much more practical and actually much easier than that. So nothing will make you go pop, nothing will make you feel like you failed at something that everybody else can do and that you were once capable of, than giving yourself hard time rather than embracing the right plan for right now. And that's the wrong plan for you. And it's not that you're not strong enough, and it's not that you're not wildly capable. You will always come to Heidi and I, and the presumption will always be that you are doing your best. On the
I
days
had this
where,
conversation yesterday with a slimmer, and
right,
she was like, I feel a little bit like you must think I'm so flaky. And I'm like, it's one of the things I think the least, because I get it. And I know you couldn't want this more. I know that you are trying so hard. I know that you desperately want to make this work. That is not in doubt. Flaky is
no,
not a thing I'm
exactly.
thinking.
And being 100% present and wanting to do it on a days where you don't necessarily have 100% capacity to do it is not a moral failure. It's not you losing motivation. It goes beyond the bounds of motivation. Just in a really practical sense, I had a conversation this morning with my slimmer about evolving into autumnal recipes. Now, last week I had a conversation with her and I laid down, these are your options, and she said, no, just give me another week on step 2. I'm going to really knuckle down and do it. Now, my little spidey senses and some of my little amber flags start going. Now, she did. She went away and she lost over a pound in weight and she felt phenomenal, and it's great. But there is still a case to be made that what we really need to do is to shake things up a little bit. So we went through all of the coaching steps that we do. We went through our audit of, portion control, water, movement. We did all of this, and where we ended up was 3 products and doubling the step 2 meal to 400 calories, and starting to embrace, the need for warmer, more comforting food, without thinking, no, I've just got to nail down step 2. It was working before. I don't understand why it's not working now. There's something wrong with me. And also not going into too far down the road of it's winter, therefore I'm just going to, floodgate on all of the warm carbs, because there is something in between. And I think we're quite resistant to that because it sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like a lot of responsibility. And I just wanted to, we talked it through. We came up with a repertoire of meals of things that I know that she, likes. A few new suggestions in there to try over time, but we're not reinventing the wheel. We're talking of a repertoire of 4 things that she knows fit with her plan, that she likes, that aren't good food because that's what I should be eating. No, I don't care how idiosyncratic it is. I want you to eat what you enjoy, what you like. And we'll work backwards to work out what that portion looks like, to shake things up a little bit, to really, more than anything, empower her and give her the morale boost that she needs, that it's not just about being stronger.
Yes, exactly. And I talk a lot with my clients. So a lot of my clients come to me, probably because they see it in me that I'm not a person that really cooks or knows how to cook. I'm more of an assembler. And so they are much the same. And so
I
that
think that's
aspect
true.
of
I think you share enough about your own experiences, and I think there is a lot of know, like, and recognize there because I tend to get a little bit more foodie clients.
yes,
I think we're
yes,
all kind of.
we are not the same person in that respect.
No.
Nell does lovely food. I'm never making those meals. I'm never doing it. I know that about myself. I'm an assembly girl and I attract the assembly women and I talk a lot because the food part suddenly feels overwhelming because it's been drummed in us that somehow we have to turn into Delia Smith. And do something that we don't find natural, or we're not capable of, or we don't really want to do, and it feels a lot. So I talk to them a lot about using the healthy convenience foods that now exist in the supermarket that maybe you've not really thought about. So,
Or you've been shoulda, wouldaing yourself, and you're telling yourself that
yes,
you've got to be
I
Delia Smith
can't
and
use
everything's got to
those.
be.
That's too
And when,
easy.
yes, I am a bit more foodie because that's a bit of my background. But actually, what I really like doing is proving to you that you don't have to be. It's
Yes.
not about being
It's
delicious
about
and
what you can
perfect.
do.
It's not about wearing an apron and it all being home cooked and you had to grow it yourself. We're not Barbara in the Good Life here.
Mm.
It's actually about, and also calling BS on healthy eating. I want you to work out, it's so much more personal than that. I want to work out what you want to do, what fits for you, what you like. And sometimes people are quite resistant to really share with me because they think it's wrong, because there's so
Yes.
much misinformation and there's so much information that's just presented in this super dogmatic way where that's good, that's bad. No food is bad. Can we all together now? No food is bad unless you ran
There is
out of the
no moral
shop.
judgment in
You should
food.
not be feeling guilty about it. And they probably had CCTV. No food that you consume is bad food. We're not buying into all of this BS. We're using meal replacements like for both of our ideal, the
Yes.
clients, Zimmers that we're talking about. We're using meal replacement to take all that headache away, all of that, so that we can break free from a lot of that what is right. Because of so many people, we've done what's right, and it didn't work for us, and it was unsustainable. We're using meal replacements to give us a break, to get our nutrition in, to be super convenient and tasty, and it works for us. It's accessible. And then from there, we're building up a little bit at a time what works. Now, mine might be more recipes. I'm a vegetarian protein queen over here, but I also know that I always go to Heidi to fill in that those ranges. You've put the work in, you've been to all the shops, you've worked out what they.
Oh, I love nothing more than someone going, I'm going to have to go and eat out at Nando's. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so good there. Let me tell you what you can have.
It's the butterfly chicken and long stem broccoli off the children's menu for most of
Oh,
mine.
there's so many things. Oh my
Mm.
God, these are
Okay,
my
that's another
personal
video.
subjects. Another video. But like, when someone goes to me and they go, oh, well, everyone's having pizza at the weekend and I'm not going to be able to join in. And I'm like, there's a 400-calorie pizza that exists. Let me tell you how you're going to do it. And let me
Yeah.
tell you how you can break it down. And this is and that might not
I
be
think
a day
so,
thing, but
because
it's
I think a
definitely a
lot of what
weekend
we're
thing.
dealing with here is the defeatism of, oh my gosh, if I go out there in the world, I have to do it right. I have to,
Yes, I can't
the
possibly
sustainability.
use a ready meal. I can't possibly use a
Yeah.
pre-packed bag of veg that's pre-portioned.
No,
Actually, that's the best thing because you already know how many calories. You
I
can't
swear
do
to
a bigger
God,
portion
I
than
sometimes think
necessary.
I should be on kickback commission for cook. The
Yeah.
amount of cook meals that work, brilliantly with our,
Yeah.
our plans. What we're talking about is that kind of halfway step as well, which
Yes.
is perfect for the kind of circadian rhythm of moving into autumn. So we've still got our three products, right? We're still on
Yeah.
step two, or we've segued from step 1A to step two, and now we're using three products. So your day looks the same, although sometimes people choose to use their calories at lunchtime. Sometimes people choose to split them up a little bit. So we're having a 300
Yeah.
calorie dinner and a small, and a bag of pop squares or something. But really, those 400-calorie dinners we've slightly broadened it out. So what one of your fears very commonly on plan is, I like the step two because I've got the list. I've got the list of exactly what I can have and the measurements. And step three looks like a lot of weighing and measuring and taking responsibility. We're not doing everything. We're doing dinner. We're doing
Yeah.
one meal. BBC Good Food Guide has an amazing section of 400 calorie recipes. And I just want you to go through and find the ones that work for you and
Yeah.
and really prioritize what you like. If your priority is to eat with the family, then take the family recipe and we're going to work backwards and we're just going to do
Yeah.
portion control. We're not concentrating so much on the VLCD, the very low calorie, that element of the plan. And we're moving much more into the territory of really nutrient dense, fantastic nutrition propped you up with the meal replacements and a low calorie way of eating. So it's that wonderful kind of like halfway house where you get to eat good, better, more suited to you food. If you are more satiated, if you like what you're eating, then
You look forward to it every day.
that little extra that's sneaking in at the weekends on your current plan, that little, I just need to be stronger. Why can I not just say no? That little half bag of Wotsits that you're finishing up from the lunchbox at the end of the day, that little, but he's got minstrels in the house and Saturday night, dark, Strictly's on, and you're feeling deprived. You've not got enough in your diet. You're over depriving. You are using it as you're over dieting. I think
Yeah.
that's
And
really
you're
what I'm
using it
trying
as
to
a
say.
tool to punish yourself rather than
And whether
actually
you
putting a positive spin on it.
and absolutely, and whether you go down the road of Heidi knowing about the high protein meals that they do at M&S, or the low calorie ones that they're doing, like the even the Slimming World ones, that or the Be Good to Yourself range, the
Or
Count
sometimes
Enough.
it's just having the chicken breast in the freezer so that if you don't fancy it, you're not having to throw it out, or getting the frozen veg that's pre-portioned so you know exactly that's a portion for you. It goes in the microwave, it's done in 2 minutes.
Using our step up meals with
Yes.
with extra steamed veg. What we need as we move further into autumn and winter is more protein. Every sneaky witch, clever which way round we can find to put more protein in. And also, you're talking about GLP-1, you're talking about feeling fuller for longer, keeping and that sounds quite glib nowadays, feel fuller for longer. It's used in marketing all the time.
Yeah.
But truisms exist, cliches exist for a reason. There's a reason that's on porridge adverts. But also we're talking about keeping, slowing down your stomach and your digestive system so that you are fuller for longer. Fiber, fiber, more protein, more fiber. And when we move into those more autumnal ways of eating, that's our priority, is more.
Just getting the fiber to show them that you can actually, if you are, if you feel like you want a little extra dose of fiber, we actually have a fiber, but it's completely tasteless. It is great because it helps keep you a little bit regular as well when you've got all the when you are on less food going in. But it's completely tasteless, and you just add a spoonful to one of your meals, your drinks, a hot drink, any of it, and you got your fiber a little bit and suddenly you're
Absolutely. And
fuller for longer.
that is colourless, tasteless powder you can use every day. And it's inulin. It's the same as you will get from a pharmacist, and it's on plan. It's been tested with our plan, and we provide it for that reason. But, a lot of what we're looking for is done from the physiological side of things. It is plan
Yeah.
forward, rather than mindset forward. So, let's just take that weight of responsibility off you straight away, nip that right in the bud, the shoulda, woulda, coulda. I should be able to do this. I've done this before. She's doing step 2 on Instagram. I just want this badly enough. And let's just try more fiber, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's feel more satiated, because I swear to you, in the long run, even in the immediate run, even right now, here today, I like what I'm doing and I prefer this. I don't need to do that anymore is a lifestyle change. That is stickable to forever and a day. I'm not allowed. I don't get to. I can't. You're on a highway to
Yeah.
go pop.
Exactly. I had a client recently who was doing fabulously on the step 2, and she came and she was like, "Oh my God, these are all the reasons it's not working for me right now, and I don't know what to do, and this is what I would like, but this is what I see now." And it was just like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'll have to go out plan, right?" And I was like, could I just explain to you how step 3 works?" And she came back and she went, "Oh my God, that's amazing. How did you come up with that? That's exactly what I'd like to do." And I'm like,
Yeah.
suddenly, and that is our skill set, is to kind of listen to what you're saying to us. You explain what's actually happening and what
Yeah.
what
My
the
favorite
outcome
bit.
is. And then we make a plan that works for you. And the
Absolutely. The best
easy,
truism
so
is
fast step 3 is a great one.
it's not that you can't do it's not that you're wrong for the diet, it's that the plan that you're currently on is wrong for you.
Yeah.
And but with those regular check-ins, we do get to know you, and we can really kind of see those really little things that make enormous differences to your comfort on plan. You deserve to be comfortable and satiated whilst losing weight. It doesn't have to hurt to work. I had a brilliant breakthrough with my slimmer this morning. I would like you to concentrate now on higher protein and higher fiber as we move forward into this next phase. And she looked panic stricken and said to me, how do I do that? How do I eat more fiber? And I said, we're going to eat more vegetables. And she went,
Yes, I had that
oh,
conversation with someone recently. I was like, you know those green vegetables? Them.
and she was vegetarian as well, and the look of absolute relief, and just the ability to overcomplicate these things when left
Yeah,
unsupervised. We all do it. We
we
all do
do.
it to ourselves. And for her, because we're moving to that more 400 calorie, we're going to start curating that more autumnal, more satisfying menu. We talked about tofu, we talked about quinoa, we talked about all sorts of things, but we also talked about more complex carbs
Yes.
in those vegetables. So we're going to come off the step two list, but we're not going rogue. We're going to look at more, sweet potatoes. We're going to look at more autumnal, we're going to look at beetroot. We're going to look at carrots. This is nothing crazy, but we are going to do it with that safety net of nutrition from the way that the plan provides, but also from those really little important conversations where I think, again, that voice in our head says, she doesn't want to talk to me about carrots. It's not important enough. It's not big enough. It's not grand enough. I don't want to be yes, we do. It is quite literally our job. We do want to talk to you about complex carbs. We want to talk to you about vegetables because that is what's going to get you from where you are now to feeling empowered and capable on a plan that really works for you. And that's why you're still going to be on plan in November, going all the way.
And it is those building blocks. We are just putting those building blocks in place, and you're getting used to those things and what a portion looks like and how you can make those meals and what the choices are in a way that's really manageable. And then over time, as you get closer to where you'd like to be, we slowly expand that so that when you get to maintenance, you're not suddenly like, oh my God, I've got all these things to think about. You're suddenly like, oh, that's quite straightforward because I've already got all those meals in my bank, right? I
Yeah.
already know how to make that work. I'm just going to
I've got
add
a
a bit more
muscle
in.
memory for it, exactly, and a familiarity with it, and an idiosyncrasy, which is so personal because it works for me. So it's not like you get to your goal weight and then go, right, now I've got to figure out food.
Yes.
It is part and parcel of a process. And if you are struggling or you're thinking, now's not the time to start because I couldn't possibly just do those shakes, you don't have to. That's not the expectation. It's not because we don't think that it goes without saying, but it's about that helpful practice of discriminating what we can do right now, what action we can take, where we can make the biggest difference now. It's not about getting to goal and then being perfect. There's no point looking fixed from the outside, but if you figured out nothing along the way. But the shorthand version of this is, if you are nervous about moving into autumn, come and have the conversation with us, because there are some universal truths there, but mostly it's about getting to know you and the bits that are going to make, what tweaks we can make. I wonder whether we should do a different video on some of the stuff that you were talking about in terms of, I can rattle off, nice food, but a lot of people do, like you said, just go, yeah, I'm not making that. No, I'm not
Yeah.
doing it.
The tweaks with the products are very straightforward. Like I talk a lot, and you do as well with your clients about, oh yeah, no, that porridge has slightly higher oats, that smoothie has slightly higher oats. They're going to keep you fuller for longer, so
Yeah.
they're a better option if this is what you're finding. Or I had a long conversation with someone this week who really likes a milky coffee, but they know they can't have it. But they were having the lattes, and I said, we just use the lattes, you're milking the coffees throughout the morning, and you're still getting your meal replacement. And it was like revolutionary. They're like, can I do that? And I was like, yeah. And just
Yeah, I think
finding
I
those
think
little adjustments.
there's just that the it looks too simple.
Yes.
I think in a way we don't help ourselves because it looks too simple, and it can be underestimated, all of those things that go on behind. Don't ever doubt. We love talking about food. We love talking about the food side, and we're good at it. We know it
Yeah.
inside out.
Well, and
But
that's the benefit of having a consultant, isn't it? We can talk with you and we get to know you and we get to suggest things that are going to be the right little tweaks and bumps that work for you as opposed to somebody else. So it's not generic. Like we all have to be a little bit more generic here, but when we're working with you, it's very specific. It's not like you're like, oh my God, she's got so many tips. I'm like, yeah, but I need to tell you one because the
yeah,
one that's going to work for
and really
you.
the takeaway is, have those conversations and figure that out with us before you crash out, because you
Yes.
deserve more. So if this is us just on the precipice of autumn and winter, holding you back and just going, no, 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 it doesn't have to be inevitable, we can absolutely, rejig this. And that's the difference between having to go through the first phase of here we go again, because the likelihood is you can do those lower steps and you can do them in summer and you can smash off a couple of stone, and it's bloody brilliant, absolutely fantastic. If that's your preferred way of using plan, then great, we can support you in doing that. If you are fatigued by doing that, if you feel like you've been round that roundabout enough times and you really need to kind of just make that breakthrough, that step from doing that with plan to the next phase of the, figuring it out and doing it through autumn and winter, and it not, it being allowed to just become a little bit more nuanced, now is the time to get ahead and do that. And it makes a huge difference. And it's altogether warmer and more yummy and delicious.
Exactly.
And you will
And
still lose weight, I promise.
yeah, I'm just going to add in, we do have the pop squares, we do have the step up meals. You are allowed to use them. Just because it's easy doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. That's supposed to be the whole point. It's supposed to feel as easy
So
as it
true.
can.
So true. People think that I'm going to judge them for
Like
using
it's a cheat to have some pop squares today. I'm like,
or the
absolutely not.
or indeed the ready meals,
Yes.
like couldn't possibly. I'm like, why not? Absolutely, they're phenomenal. And also that isn't likely how the weight went on in the first place. You're not using them
No,
7 days a week. You're not living on
exactly.
them in its entirety. No, there is no
And yeah,
judgment. I think we're trying to get home the point about the no judgment as well. I think,
yes.
I'm not judging you anywhere near as harshly as you're judging yourself.
No,
Right? Stop
no.
it.
And it's exhausting to be in that headspace because
Yeah.
we've all been there. Don't do it to yourself. Come have a chat with us. We'll reassure you that's a perfectly normal thing that's happening to most people. And this is how we can move forward.
Yes, supermarkets wouldn't be full of all of that. And this whole real drive against UPF, like the news that came out this week about the watershed on advertising for children, I
Yeah.
absolutely totally get that and I respect it. But also, food is going up. It's gone up exponentially. A food shop,
Yes.
food is so expensive, and now they're getting rid of so much of the things that help mums.
Yeah.
Like I heard that yesterday about the getting rid of buy one get one free offers and getting rid of multi-packs and things in a fight against the obesity crisis. It's not because we don't, like why make it even harder for us to feed our families in an affordable, convenient way? Not all processed food is, like some of the end of the media, and again, the kind of victimizing people that are trying to work on health and wellness because all processed food is bad. It's
Yeah.
not. It didn't start out like that. And you're allowed to use a microwave. We're allowed an air fryer tea. Don't be ridiculous. It polarizes health and weight loss and all of these things, and it makes it so overwhelming. And on plan, we can just fall into the trap of being avoidant of it because the meal replacements work for us, and I just want to use meal replacements and I don't want to think about it. But we're not thinking about all of it. We're not tackling all of it. There's nothing wrong with using some convenience food. That is not the same as living on an ultra processed food diet 100% of the time,
No.
but it doesn't go well in headlines, does it? The grey area.
No, no.
You
And
don't
there's
need
a
to
lot
know
of
all. We're talking about building up a repertoire of 3 dinners that like, and trust, that
yeah.
that you like, that actually fits what you want to eat. You've got a kind of muscle memory for the portion control. We worked it out once. We did the heavy lifting on that on MyFitnessPal, and now we know what it looks like. It's easy. You could batch cook it. You could buy it from. It's like the wood-fired pizza from Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah.
400 calories, a bag of rocket, pizza, and movie night. You
Yeah.
know,
It's like having tins of tuna just ready to go in your kitchen cupboard because they're a good source of protein you can put with something else and it's a quick lunch, dinner. Don't overthink it. It doesn't have to be complicated.
no, it just has to work for you for the here and now, and you can eat it on repeat. And when you get sick of one of them, we'll slide that out and we'll put one more in. I think people, when we start talking about food, they worry that we're going to have to do what we've done so many times before. Right. This is my moment. This is my year. And you go and buy all of the gear. It's all the gear and no idea. I've got all of the books. I've got all of the recipe books. I've got the magnetic planner. I've got the whiteboard marker. Oh, I'm sick of it. So sick of it. I don't want to think about it anymore. I don't want to think about food. That was me.
Yeah.
That is me.
A bit out there. We don't need another planner. We're not going to use it because we're going to look at the pages. It's going to be very pretty and we won't want to ruin it. And it will be in a cupboard forevermore. Don't buy it.
And it's okay to try one dinner and be like, I didn't really
Yeah.
like it. It didn't really
Yeah.
work for me. That's okay. Right. We're gonna try
Don't do that one.
yeah. And you're gonna let ourselves off the hook and use a step up meal today.
Yeah.
It's really about figuring out, and that's our whole MO, really, isn't it? The
Yeah.
stepping stones to get you from here to where you want to be. And just in case you missed it, the first 4 times we've said it in this video, it's not about wanting it more. It could never be in any doubt.
No, exactly that. So if you are thinking, actually, I'd like to give that a whirl, then you can contact me or Nell anytime. Our contact details are always in the description below. Drop us a message. We always love to hear from you, and we will see you again next week. Goodbye.